Welcome back.
What the
I'm having so much fun making those every week.
That dude with the saw really gave me some inspiration, though. I finally think I can play an instrument.
I'm telling you, it was entertaining as shit, right? And you just saw 30 seconds of it. We spent, I don't know, an hour watching them play.
I'm into it.
They were ripping so many covers. It was awesome.
Hell yeah.
So, but without further ado, let's welcome on our guest for the evening, owner of Heartland Barber. We got welcome Josh Lovell to Seltzer Time. Hi, Josh. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Hey.
How you doing?
Wonderful. How are you?
Great. Now that I saw that saw guy, I don't know how you put that in the middle of it because you need that at the end because you can't top that.
That's true.
I'll take that into consideration for next week's.
Yeah.
I like how he put the saw like under his chin.
And then you see it pop out like it's some kind of animal.
And then it missed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some risky shit.
Yeah.
He was handing it to children. Like there was children at the restaurant. He was handing it to the children to play. So I'm hoping it's dulled, but
he's confident.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Makes for better content.
Hopefully not. I chose the room with the best lighting in my house, apparently.
Well, I mean, for as much shit as you've given us over the years about how bad our stuff is, it's fitting that you went through no effort when coming onto the show.
Well, I did go through effort. I don't know if you know what it's like to live with a toddler, but I had to like clean this room out, find a spot, get this set up all during her nap time so that when I ultimately had to come in here, it was already ready to go, set up, and I could just sit down and pop it open and do my thing. So
no, you did great. Jokes aside, we are pumped.
A little bit of effort. And actually the lighting was better, but now it's dark. So what are you gonna do?
You have a better backdrop than me. Mine's just like plain white. I haven't hung anything up yet.
Well, got a couple of drum heads.
Bookshelf. It makes you look smart, right?
Have you read all those books?
There.
Yeah, I've read all these books. Yeah, most of them are nursing books. My wife's books from college and whatnot, but they look smart.
That's all that matters.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
So thanks for joining us, Josh. For anybody who doesn't know who Josh is, Josh cuts both of Ricky and my hair.
That's it.
Yeah, no, he's servicing lots of people in Worcester, and he's building a business that's in one of the coolest buildings in Worcester.
It's not bad. It's a pretty good building.
Yeah. Do you enjoy it? Do you like being able to walk out and get a coffee if you need it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, when I first moved in, it became kind of troublesome because I would drink 5 coffees a day. And then I had to limit myself.
You're like one morning, cutting hair, just like shaking the entire time.
Realistically, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Hard to get those lines if you got the fidgets.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people probably got some whack haircuts early on, but whatever. They came back.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love your spot. I love walking in and looking at all the stuff on the walls. I swear I notice something different every time. And now with Danielle there, it seems like you have a brand building that's kind of expanding beyond just you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And as you guys know, I started alone in there, just cutting hair solo. And then Danielle's been there for about a year. And when she came in, it definitely, because I have the business in Worcester, but I'm not a Worcester native. She's got that one up on me. She grew up in Worcester and she comes in already with clientele. So it helps us with our street cred, to have a Worcester native and a Worcester business, right?
Kind of squash some of the haters.
Yeah. Wait, there's haters?
I haven't heard anybody.
There's haters everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
There must be. You must have ruffled somebody's feathers.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
You didn't always cut hair though, right? That's like
No, not when I was born. I wasn't born cutting hair.
No, you didn't pop out with like Edward Scissorhands and then they surgically removed those?
I tried being a kid for a little bit. That didn't really work. And then Yeah, I had to like be an adult. That didn't work. So then I tried being a kid again. I don't know. Ultimately, I had to, do a couple careers to get me to where I am now. But yeah,
That's awesome. A couple careers, not a bad thing.
couple careers.
Couple, 2, 3.
I don't know what you're hinting at, but you might be hinting at my past with another business owner in my building. I don't know.
Well, there's a little bit of that. I mean, I know there's some of those stories that
You
come
were
up.
you were a pro skateboarder?
Pro skateboarder. Yeah. Yeah. No,
Gnarly.
very much not a pro skateboarder.
No, I figured you used to build motorcycles.
No. Well, I did with the guys that build motorcycles. These guys, Easy Company. We all got into motorcycles together, but they just kept doing it, and I kind of let them do their thing because they were better at it.
It happens.
Do you ride a motorcycle?
I have one. Riding it is questionable.
Understood.
I own a motorcycle.
You have a toddler. I get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll use that excuse. Not that it's always broken.
It's always broken. That's awesome. Those guys can help you out. Keep going.
So you're born a baby. Did some
I
kids.
was born. I think I don't remember, but I think yeah.
From what we've heard, you were born a baby. Did some kid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did some adult stuff. Did some kid stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How did you get to what you're doing now? Like what led you to pick up the buzzer? I don't know if that's
well,
not a barber term.
Yeah. So my career before barbering was I, tour managed and did merch for some bands. I toured around the world with a Worcester band named 4 Years Strong.
Assholes.
Oh, Flock of, I cut Roger's hair. He's
really?
a Flock of Assholes. Yeah,
That's
he's
awesome.
a great guy. Hopefully he doesn't listen to this. He probably won't, but maybe he will. He got a shout out. That's cool.
Never know.
Roger's a good guy. Hi, Roger. Anyway, yeah, no, 4 Years Strong, who Joe is the owner of New Tradition, Joe and Jay, but Joe being the one that's in 4 Years Strong, that's my connection to the building. So I did that for a long time. I loved it, but it all had a timeline of, you're touring, you're kind of like, this is great. And then you realize, oh, I'm gone, 8 to 10 months out of the year. And I'm trying to, maybe have a family or buy a house or start a career that I'm not always gone. So it hit a time where barbering was always an interest. And I actually looked into going to school while touring, while out on the road, and you couldn't do it. You need full commitment. Who would have thought you need a full commitment to actually do anything in this world? But so I don't know. It hit a point about 10 years ago. It was 2012, where the band was taking a little bit of time off, and I signed up for barber school and said, if I like this, I'll do it. If I hate it, I can always tour again with this band or another band, or make this my job. But I don't know, it stuck. 10 years later, here I am. I went to barber school. I started cutting at a shop in Milford. I ended up cutting in Milford, Mass for about 7 years, and then
Wow.
I opened Heartland. It'll be 3 years ago in June.
That's
Right.
3 years already.
3 years.
Shit.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Man. That's
yeah, I know,
huge.
right? Well, what there's some COVID time in there, so it was kind of weird. About a year into the business, not even, was when I had to close for like two months. I think it was 2 months exactly, and it sucked, but we made it work. We survived.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I liked about you as a service, because if I booked a haircut with Josh, I knew he was the only other person in there, and he was taking everything super serious. So like, all right, this feels safe, and I feel like I can not look like a slob. So this is awesome.
Yeah, I think early on, when people were really nervous and we really didn't know what precautions were needed, we didn't have a vaccine, none of that type of stuff, people did like the idea of the one-on-one appointment haircut. Nobody else was in there. I didn't have a second barber yet. So I had even people who were maybe on that higher risk who were really nervous, knowing they could come in there and be safe. Where other barber shops either maybe weren't being safe or were too many barbers in one place or whatever it may be. Like I think I prided myself on being a place that those people could go and know what they were getting into and know that they could feel safe there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had to be like super careful with like Naomi and everything, but it was cool because it was like, oh, the only place I ever went into during all that like super craziness time was literally to go get a haircut from you when you were open, because I don't even think the coffee shop was open when you first reopened, right? Didn't it stay closed for a little while?
No, they weren't at first. I don't remember how long after, maybe a month, something like that. But even when they did open, that was like their short hours where they were open like 3 hours a day for a while. So even that, I had some people who would purposefully book in the afternoon knowing that the coffee shop was closed. So they would kind of just like feel safer, whether it was like, a parent whose kid, lived at home with a grandparent or whatever it was, like that. And, honestly, I even have people now, like where we are now with it, which like, obviously we're in a much safer place with vaccines and everything, but there's still high risk people who don't want to go into, like heavily populated places if they can help it, if they have someone at home who's a higher risk for whatever reason that may be.
Totally.
Yeah, it just makes sense. It makes sense for the business. It makes sense for the customers. And you must have made lifelong customers now from those experiences. Like you must get those repeats.
I mean, you always hope so. I have customers who have come to me since I started, even working in Milford. So when I made the switch, it was I was nervous about having to like build my clientele because I had Worcester people who came to me because I live in Worcester and I knew people in Worcester. But I had a lot of people out there by, Milford, Hopkinton, all that kind of area where I was cutting hair. And a lot of them still come to me. A surprising amount, honestly. I didn't think as many people would follow me as did and still do 3 years later.
That's cool.
It speaks to the service.
I hope so.
I say it speaks more to the playlist because you literally have the best playlist in the fucking city in terms of everything. It's so good.
Yeah. I mean, I try, obviously, when I first opened, I made my own playlist. Now I kind of take input and I know Ricky has put his 2 cents in when I do posts on Instagram. What should I add to my next playlist? Because I have a playlist for every year. I have one for 2019, 2020, 2021. I every year I've been in the shop, I make a new playlist, but then I like sometimes go back and play the old ones when I want to switch it up or whatever.
Do you have do you put some of the same songs in the same playlist, or are they all totally fresh?
Some of them go on all, stuff I really like, or it's always like maybe the same artist, but a different album or whatever it may be. And I started the playlist. The first thing I ever did was I made a playlist of all the Tony Hawk Pro Skater music from like 1 through 4 or whatever.
Some of the best
tunes early
ever.
ones. And that's how I started. And then I went from there, building off of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. I think my demographic is of the age group that everyone played those games.
Yeah, and there's enough skateboards on the wall that you're going to appeal to somebody with the combination of the two.
Yeah, I think so.
Did you watch the Tony Hawk documentary, that like new thing on HBO?
I started it last night. I go to bed kind of early, so I got like an hour of it, and then I'll finish it another night.
I'm kicking around starting it after this, but I probably won't.
I didn't see that. Is it like a life document life look at Tony Hawk?
Yeah, it just came out like I don't know, last Friday or something. It's really new.
Yeah, HBO Max.
Yeah.
Giving it a little plug,
Okay, well, it needs the help. It needs.
If anybody needs a free ad, it's Tony Hawk. So.
Needs the Seltzer Time bump.
Yeah, the Seltzer Time bump. Oh yeah, he went on Dax Shepard's podcast, but that wasn't enough. It's this one that's really going to get people to watch.
Dax actually texted us and was like, "Hey guys, like if you could just throw him a bone, like ours didn't push it enough. We know that you have the ears and the eyes." And we were like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" We couldn't book him. Like,
how do I see how many people are watching this? I don't even know.
I don't even know.
In the thousands.
It's like 11,000 minus thousands.
Cool. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we do have some homies in the chat, and they're someone said, "I can't believe it's been a year since Danielle joined."
Yeah, in July. That's Abel. I know Abel. He comes for the haircuts.
Mokro's husband is hiking the Appalachian Trail. You cut her husband Tim's hair.
Yep, I remember that. We talked about that.
That's bananas.
Sounds crazy.
Okay, so that's actually a good thing. So you cut hair for like every type of person, basically. At least like I've noticed, just whether going in there or like even working at the coffee shop, just like the different types of humans coming out. What's like one of the craziest stories you've ever heard? Like, do people just come in there and tell you way too much, or is it pretty chill? Like,
it's funny because when you work in a shop with like a lot of other barbers and a lot of people, the conversation tends to be very like small talk and like talking about sports and TV and stuff like that. And then when I did open and I was alone, I noticed I became like more of like customers that I had for a long time started talking to me more personally and stuff and like opening up. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. This is kind of cool. Like this, like one-on-one conversation. Cause you don't always get that in a barbershop. And I think there's good to both. Cause like you want that like kind of community coming together of people talking, but then also that like one-on-one conversation is really good.
You're a therapist.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some people do say that. I was actually the other day, me and Danielle were talking about that a little bit, and we were saying, maybe we are to some people just in the sense of like having someone to talk to occasionally. But in the same way, I think that the customers become like therapists to us because we have someone to vent to too, if not multiple people to vent to. And I can kind of like over the day vent a little bit more and more. I don't know. It's just someone to talk to. Because if you think about, I don't know, somebody who has a job, like whether they work from home or they're in an office, they might not talk to somebody all day.
Oh yeah,
except for their like, spouse or roommate or something. So
that's a good point.
And you guys are very close when you're working. So how do you not have some type of communication?
Yeah, well, you gauge the person. Sometimes if they're, you're trying to be like, "Oh, how's your day? What's up?" and they're just quiet. You're just like, "All right, this is a silent haircut. That's fine. I don't want to talk."
Do you have a preference? Do you like the silent one sometimes?
Sometimes if I'm in a mood, sometimes I'll try to push for the silence, I guess, but
it's just funny. It's a job like any other job, but it's funny to me to have a bad day as a barber and not want to talk to people because I think of a barber as somebody that likes to talk, but I'm sure it happens.
Well, it's funny because like, I guess me personally, I don't think of myself as somebody who likes to talk, but I obviously am, or I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is like on my days off, I could be completely silent all day and would be perfectly happy. Like never speak to a human at all.
I know what you mean.
It's so lonely.
Yeah.
It's a high and a low. It's like you exert a lot of energy during your workday so that when you have your time to recuperate, silence is part of it. I feel similarly.
So sometimes even at the shop, I'll like friends will be out in the coffee shop and I'll just sit in the barber shop because I'm like, I don't want to go say what's up.
I don't.
I'll just wave.
Yeah. Shit, I can't blame you.
I mean, you
Good
also
job.
like one of the coolest things about your shop though is like you have signs everywhere, basically just like laying it out there, like everybody's welcome here. But then the way like you and then also Danielle like both just kind of come off super welcoming. So I definitely understand how people can sit down and be like, I don't really know you, but here's my whole life story. Like,
Yeah. There's definitely been some life stories where you're like, tell me less, please.
yeah.
I don't need to know about the fourth person you welcomed into your bed last night with your. I don't need to know about that.
Oh, you hear all types of stories.
Yeah, there's different types. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Some are good, some are whatever. But yeah.
I mean, without
But
naming names, is there anything that you're like, this is by far the weirdest day I had as a barber?
I mean, there's definitely been some weird days. A lot of those like really personal stories or like really like pulling you into their shit and you're like, this is your first time here. How about we get a couple in and then you open up a little bit more or whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot.
It happens. Are we going to see Jack tonight? Is he going to show up on the show?
He's laying right behind me.
Yes.
He's always with me. He's like, if my wife would say if he could crawl up my ass, he would. he's on it. Like if I'm like going around the house, he is right there behind me. He follows me around, and it's great. I mean, it's obviously like he's attached. You know, when you get a rescue dog, you don't know their story, so whatever makes him happy.
Yeah,
he's awesome. A welcome addition to the shop. I like seeing him just laying there between the two chairs.
So chill.
Yeah, he's very uniquely calm dog, like perfect for being in the barbershop.
Yeah. Secret lady friend agrees about rescue. Her rescue dog is kind of a jerk. Yeah. We've been like cuddling.
Jack is not a jerk.
Yeah. See, I should have got a non-jerk dog.
He's a very nice boy.
Where'd you rescue him?
Yeah, he knows we're talking about him. He's looking at me.
Where did you rescue him?
So the rescue was in Connecticut. It was called Murphy's Paw, but he actually came from California, like Bakersfield area.
That's cool.
Oh,
Murphy's Paw. That's like the cold. That's the best name for like an animal shelter.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's awesome. Okay, so in terms of like if you're in a band, everybody has like that band that got them into music. Do barbers have like barber heroes? Like, do you have like one barber you look up to where you're like, fuck yeah, that's what I want to be at? Like, I want to be like?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just like anything else. And in the age of social media, it's like amplified by like, you see barbershops or barbers online and you're like, yeah, something like that. I like that. Or like maybe you almost even copy it. Like, let me rip that off. Like everybody does because nothing's that original. But I guess I do have a kind of a story like that of when I was touring and I would go around to barbershops as much as I could to get haircuts in different places and see different barbershops and stuff. And that's what made me know that I was like, oh, this is something I would want to do. This is pretty cool. And specifically up in Toronto, I remember going to a barbershop called Crow's Nest. And this guy, Hambone, who was at the time just a mutual friend, he had toured before as well as a tour manager and got into barbering, and he was working there. And so when I was on tour, he had some mutual friends with us, friends with bands that we toured with. And I went out to that shop and I went in there and like my mind was blown. It was like, punk dudes, hardcore dudes, all tattooed, cutting hair, like cool shit on the walls, skateboards, like good music. It was like, honestly, in a funny way, very similar to how Heartland is now, where it was like a hole in the wall, like small barber shop. It was actually in like a basement of this other business with like super low ceilings, and like it just like the feeling was so cool. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to do something like this. And that turned into, well, let me go to barber school. And then, I started working as a barber. And I think there was definitely a point where I was working at other like town barber shops where I was like, that was my goal. Like I wanted to get to that point, have my own barbershop and do that. And, like however many 7 years ago was when I bought my house in Worcester. And when I started living here, I was like, this is the place to do it. Not to say like a tagline, like Worcester was on the up and up, like around that time, everything was happening in Worcester, the buzz about Worcester. But, that's kind of how I felt, was like, there isn't really a place that like this here. So let me create it. And that's, I mean, I've been lucky because it's caught on and done well, but that's kind of where I was like, create what doesn't exist, know?
That's how cool shit happens though. Like you talk to like random people and they're like, I wish this was here. It's like, okay, so do it. Like you can do it.
Yeah.
Somebody has to.
And I think that that's what a lot, I do think Worcester has a lot of that compared to a lot of places. I think the opportunity for it has been there. I think it's going to get harder because rents are going to go up and everything's going to be more expensive, and they're going to build more developments, which I'm not taking a stance in that necessarily. But, when Joe and Jay bought the New Tradition what is now the New Tradition building, that was a piece of shit in a shitty neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now, it's still kind of a shitty neighborhood, but they did a lot of work to it to make it the way it was. And they could do that because they got it on such the cheap in a crappy neighborhood in Worcester. But those crappy neighborhoods and cheap buildings are getting fewer and further between. So it's going to be a lot harder. But anyway, I liked the opportunity that was there. And, Joe and Jay had this idea to open this coffee shop. Actually, it was supposed to be a motorcycle clothing shop with a coffee bar in it. That's what it originally was supposed to be. It was going to be leaned more towards the like motorcycle gear and clothing. Yeah. And then they were going to be like, and we're going to have a coffee bar in the corner. And then as they realized how much went into like getting an espresso machine and doing this and doing that, they were like, okay, this is slowly just turning into a coffee shop with a corner that has motorcycle stuff in it, which now has turned into just a coffee shop with some motorcycle paraphernalia.
Yeah. And it has merch.
But when they did that, I said, oh, what we could do is like a 1-chair barber shop in the corner. Like you build me out a little station. I cut hair in the retail store, which was something I had seen at a place called Ball and Buck that was on Newbury Street in Boston. They had a little tiny barber shop inside of the retail store. And I thought that was a cool idea and something that could be done in Worcester in like a little bit different of a way. So it turned into being bigger than just a 1-chair thing. It was I was like, oh, I got room for 2 chairs in here. Let's do 2 chairs, even though it's just going to be me at first. So they built all that out. They did that whole parking lot, improved that building. Eastern Border ended up going upstairs. Easy Company was the first thing that was in there. They've been in there since the beginning. They moved in right away.
Sure.
And that was also supposed to be, there was going to be a motorcycle co-op with multiple people coming in and having like little stations where they could work on bikes. But then John and Craig came in, and then 2 of the other people moved out, and they were like, oh, our business is growing. We're just going to take over all this. So then they grew and it changed. So a lot of the ideas from the beginning are different. As you know, upstairs was supposed to be a event space for a while, which they did have some events, but that has shifted as well.
Well, the pandemic screwed that up. And speaking of John,
Yeah.
I definitely talked to John this past week, and we're going to have those guys on at some point to talk about their crazy story. Another
Oh, that'll be
crazy
better
YouTube.
than this one.
Oh, well, it's just different. Just they have a YouTube
No,
channel.
it'll be better. Yeah. So the funniest thing about like John and Craig, I went to high school with them. I've known them since high school. And Craig and I were in a hardcore band 15 years ago. And then when I started working for 4 Year Strong, I did merch for them. And then when I moved up to tour manager, we brought Craig on to do merch. And then when we did a Warp Tour one year, we brought John on to be a roadie. And then he ended up being a guitar tech. So then me, John, and Craig all toured with 4 Year Strong at the same time. And then now we're all in that building together. So it's a really weird progression because I went to high school with them. I was in a band with Craig, and then we toured together. And then now we're all in the same building.
Business owners together.
That's crazy.
I can't kick those fucking idiots. No, I love them.
Awesome.
That's wild. That's like, I don't know. That's so cool. That kind of just like speaks to how rad that building is. There's just so much like cool shit happening and like cool people doing it. And it's stuff that literally didn't exist in the city before. Or if it did, it wasn't what's happening in that building. It has a different vibe to it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a beacon in that neighborhood now where there's a lot of interesting stuff happening and there's going to be a lot of new stuff coming in. And the fact that this coffee shop has been here the entire time and already has an audience, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting few years.
They're building a lot of lofts.
A lot of very expensive.
There. All those buildings are getting bought up. They're building a lot of lofts. We'll see.
They're going to keep the retail on the first floor because that's what millennials want. But yeah, there's going to be lots and lots of, I don't know. We'll see.
Retail's dead.
What do millennials want? Like shitty Mexican food, like done by Americans? Is that what they want?
I hope not.
Pretty much. Yeah.
No, we want.
I'm just being like that guy.
I feel you.
It's okay. I'm the guy that hates retail, so I feel you.
Yeah.
Well,
this is what your listeners want. They want us to shit talk Worcester.
You guys are too lovely. I don't know. Anyway, Josh, how do people find you on the internet? Where can they learn more about your services?
Oh, Heartland Barber. It would be your main source on Instagram. I don't have TikTok. I'm too old for that.
No, you're not. You should be on there.
No, I don't got time for that shit.
All right.
How do I make videos? I gotta.
It's easy. You can just make them like you make them on Instagram.
I gotta hire somebody or something. I don't know.
No.
I don't even take my own pictures.
That's the thing. Joe needs to have a fucking. Joe Dufresne has to have a TikTok add-on where you can just keep him on retainer to come in, make a couple TikToks a week. Boom.
Apparently, Warm Jello says templates. I don't know
what's
that is.
Templates.
It's
See,
so easy.
I'm old. I guess I'm old too.
Warm Green Jello, hit him up in his DMs, help him out.
Warm Green Jello is gonna do it. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook. That's my age bracket, I guess.
Well, could be worse.
I don't have Twitter. I don't even have Twitter.
Did we cover how'd you got the name Heartland Barber?
Oh yeah, no.
Heartland Barber. Okay, so it's not that complicated, but I knew what I wanted the logo to be. I knew I wanted a heart because of Worcester, and I knew I wanted the handshake. I had Dan Sheridan, who is a great graphic designer, who did this shirt, I believe, probably because he does all of Easy Company stuff. But he did my logo for me, and I gave him, some ideas to play with. But basically, he did the design of the logo. But I had the idea for a logo first, and then I was like, I want a name with like heart in the name. And I just, upon brainstorming, came up with Heartland. I didn't really like it at first, honestly. And then I looked up online, like the literal meaning of Heartland. And it means the middle territory that is least susceptible to invasion. And I was like, that's pretty cool for a barbershop.
Oh, that's super cool.
because it kind of echoes that like a safe place for you to be, you know, kind of thing. And I liked the meaning of it. And then the name, you know, as I sat with it, it like sounded good with the logo was cool. So I don't know, not that complicated, but I definitely overthought it for a while until I came to the conclusion. It was I had time though, because we were building out in the building for a little while. So I had time to like really land on one. It wasn't like I had a week to think of a name and then had to do it. You know, if it had been later, I think I would have named it after my daughter, but maybe a future barbershop I'll do that. Goldie's Barbershop. That'd be a pretty good one.
I dig it.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Well, open like another barbershop on the other side of the city. Have two.
A competing one.
Yeah.
And then don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I figured Goldie's going to be your TikTok manager here in like, I don't know, 2-3 years. Kids start young.
She might. Yeah. I mean, it might be her business anyway. So, yeah. If she wants to cut hair, she can take it.
That's awesome. Well, Josh,
well, I'm
this
supposed
has been a long
to drink
time.
seltzer on this, right?
Oh, what are you doing? Yeah.
I have
Seltzer
one.
time. We have a koozie for you, by the way. Next time I'm down at the shop, I'll give you one. Cheers.
What are you drinking? Oh, the mandarin.
Koozie.
I got pomegranate.
Koozie. Pomegranate's my favorite, actually.
So I never, ever drank the pomegranate until like a year ago. And now I get it all the time. It's probably my like.
Did I tell you to get it?
Honestly, you probably did.
And I said pomegranate's my favorite. And I think I remember you being like, really? I don't know if I've had that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you must have been the one who told me that. Because yeah, I literally don't think I ever had it until a year ago, and now it's always in the rotation.
These are those hard-hitting conversations that happen in the chair.
Well, we got to get in the chair. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, Josh. Well, this has been a long time coming. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure we'll see you around the coffee shop very soon.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, Heartland Barber, New Tradition Coffee, Easy
Harrison
Company,
Court.
Harris Court.
Harris Court. What am I? Harrison Court.
Harris Court.
Harrison Court.
Eastern Border, upstairs. Don't forget that. Sludge House Studio, Karma Clay.
Yeah,
we got a bunch of stuff in that building. You got to support this stuff or it won't be there. So,
and then Goldie's haircut's coming in like 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let her cut my hair now, I guess. Fine.
She can cut. There's a video. So that little like intro video thing that was playing before you came on. There, I forget which video it is, but it's clearly from when I was in my old apartment, which was like during the beginning of COVID. And I like had one of our friends in our yard just like shave the sides of my hair because you weren't open. And I shaved my beard off. And as soon as the video came up, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, it looked so bad. So Goldie could
saw
also
the beard
cut my hair
too, actually.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
But Goldie can cut my hair because she would do a much better job than I did of myself. So
maybe she's a psychopath at this point in her life, but she does love seltzer. Maybe I should get you a clip for your intro.
We would love it.
Chugging some seltzer.
We would absolutely love it.
Do it.
Yeah. She's a seltzer lover for sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hell yeah.
All right, Josh. We will talk to you soon, my dude.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yep.
Later.
Cut him off. And for you viewers, we will be right back after a short break to talk about what's bubbling.